So Matt, holy shit, there's a new Nier game. Like, can I just say that again? There is a new Nier game.
I'm surprised that it would happen after how Nier was received when it first came out, how Dragon Guard 3 was received when it came out. Square really bit the bullet again, didn't they?
And then they decided, you know what, let's just throw all this money at Yoko Taro and his craziness, and let's also get Platinum Games along for the ride. And so we have Nier Automata for the PlayStation 4 and PC, and oh my god, this game, oh my god.
It's really gotten a lot of people excited, considering I was a huge fan of the first game for reasons that generally aren't depicted when it comes to certain video games. You think a game that plays really well, has a really kind of tight gripping narrative, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Unfortunately, Nier had half of those things. It wasn't a very good game, didn't perform too well, but it was still that little lovable puppy that you could just want to hug every single time.
Well, let me tell you the best thing about that, because this game is playable. Like, the best thing about Platinum being on this is that they've made Nier playable. Like, the combat doesn't suck, the jank is pretty much gone, it runs flawlessly, like...
It's very, very consistent.
And the fishing kind of makes sense this time, so...
Okay.
That's a very long story.
Before we dive into the minigames, let's focus more on the combat itself. Nier Automata plays very much, it's very deeply in Platinum Games' roots, in the routine of fighting a particular enemy or a boss, learning how to counter it, and then counterattacking.
Yes.
Those are the kinds of chops that Nier Automata is built upon. Games like Metal Gear Rising, which is shared by the director as well, same director. So you're going to expect, if you've played Metal Gear Rising, if you've played something like Bayonetta, you'll kind of feel at home. However, there are also different changes. So you're not scored based on the way normal Platinum games are kind of graded, where you've got your A, B trophies, gold, silver, platinum, that kind of deal. It's more played like a straight action RPG.
Yes, it absolutely is. Like, there's no kind of technicalities to a lot of the combat. It's just, there's stuff to it if you've played Platinum games, great, awesome. But other than that, it's very straight and narrow with kind of the combat works. But I think the thing that really is going to sell people is the story.
Yes,
like,
definitely.
this is Yoko Taro at its strongest. It is just... I haven't played a game in a long time that's left me surprised. Like, genuinely, I go into a new area and all of a sudden, oh my god, like, this new thing has just happened and I wasn't expecting it. Coupled with that is you have the soundtrack, which is comprised by the same dudes who
Keiichi Okabe, my boy.
Thank you. You also have the soundtrack from which is just like the last game, fucking amazing. And so to me, it's like they did the thing I really wanted them to do. They made a better looking, better running Nier with as good a story and as good a soundtrack.
And it's got a little bit of overlap from the Yoha stage play written by Taro himself.
Yes.
So there's some interesting little things there. If you're a fan of the play as well, you'll probably get a lot more out of it than most people do. However, as far as a game it's not exactly as frightening as it is to get into from the first game.
Yeah.
It's what makes the cult classic great, and also the fact that it builds, it's everything you need in a sequel. Builds upon what made the first great. Goes completely away from its shortcomings, distances itself on that, and then focuses on what makes it great, and then built upon that.
Yeah, just honestly, dive right in, enjoy it. It's brilliant.